Alright, yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski. I'm going to be doing some post-game commentary on some randoms today, and I have some really good matches for you guys, which I'm really excited for. We went on a really crazy win streak, and I was super happy with it. Now, this has all been for the Race to Sceptile series, which is a series where I'm trying to get that free competitive Pokemon as fast as possible, playing a couple randoms a game, commentating them, improving, getting better, raising my rank, etc, etc. I'm going to try my best to commentate here and show you guys my thought process. We'll go ahead and start game one. I'll be watching a lot of the games on 1.5 times speed. One of them is extremely slow, and we'll actually be watching it on 2 times speed, but don't worry, that's the last game. That's the boring one. These first 2 games are really incredible in my opinion, and super worth the watch. So we're starting off here. The first couple turns here are super important. We're starting off here, Magmortar versus Hypno. I'm really scared of him having some sort of just huge psychic damage. I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to obliterate me. And this Hypno is quickly going to become a huge threat for me and be really difficult for me to answer. I don't want to waste my Magmortar here. My Magmortar's Life Orb, I could just get off some decent damage against this thing, although I know that Hypno is a huge special defense wall, and it's going to take a lot more damage from those physical attacks. He goes for a Thief, which I was kind of surprised by here, but I go ahead and just essentially, I can switch over to Piloswine, to Eviolite Piloswine to tank stuff, set up Stealth Rocks, and then also be able to respond with a physical attack, doing some damage. Now this is where things get really scary. Hypno goes for the Belly Drum. I totally forgot. I want to pause really quick. I made a huge mistake in just totally forgot that Hypno can have a Belly Drum set in randoms, and it almost cost me this entire game. And it was really incredible. It was really close. So he goes for it. He gets it off at a really high HP, and he also has access to Drain Punch. So now I'm literally in one of the worst positions possible. I'm facing down a 100% HP Hypno with Belly Drum up at +6 attack, with really poor switch-ins into this thing. My 2 best switch-ins here are kind of my Ninjask to be able to come in Final Gambit, and I actually run some calcs here. This was really important. The main thing I have to focus on here is taking advantage of my opponent's Hypno's low speed. That's my biggest asset. Taking advantage of his low speed, even though he's really healthy and really powerful right now, is the most important thing. So I actually ran some calculations. This game was so close and so important. I loaded up Pokemon Showdown damage calculations, and I sat here counting. I needed to know how much damage Final Gambit, U-Turn, and Leech Life all did to Hypno. And I think after calculating out, I think Leech Life did a peak of like 94 or something, so I couldn't quite kill, unfortunately. So I knew that my best bet was to go into Ninjask, U-turn out, get that chip damage, switch into something that will tank the attack well enough. And I'm really hoping here that he just chooses not to Drain Punch too much. Or I'm hoping that he doesn't regain too much HP from Drain Punch. That's what I'm worried about. So it took a lot of time there. I'm down to 45 seconds here, as you can see. I took a lot of time calculating all of that on Showdowns to make sure I made the right decision. And yeah, I do a huge U-turn here, 74%. I'm really glad I calced here. I also calced, I think Final Gambit did 94, or 90. Final Gambit didn't quite kill, unfortunately, with the HPs. I calced it out. I bring Tangela in off the U-turn, goes for a Zen Headbutt, which I'm sacrificing my Tangela here, but at the same time, it's quite good for me. Now, here's where I actually made a huge mistake, and I actually regret this so much. I just forgot Hypno had the Insomnia ability. Just a huge mistake by me. I could have gotten a little bit more value off of this, but it didn't end up mattering too much, thankfully, but just a big mistake that just didn't need to happen, right? So we do see that. Now I can safely bring in... So at this point, I've essentially sacrificed 2 Pokemon to deal with this Hypno, which obviously is not the best position to be in a randoms format, but I do have this Ninjask, which is going to be able to get me a decent amount of value. Now, he brings in Marowak, which I know is obviously going to go for the Stone Edge here, and I'm thinking here, can I really sacrifice my Ninjask here to get a Final Gambit off? Do I really U-turn? The issue is, if I U-turn, every Pokemon I have left, whether it's my Luxray, my Magmortar, or even my Delcatty, are just taking so much damage from this incoming, most likely Stone Edge, that I'm like, you know what? It sucks. This is a really risky play. I was like, it sucks, but I think this is my only path to victory. I think I actually have to... I think I ended up calculating the damage as well. It doesn't quite kill the Marowak. I calced it out. I have 7 seconds left here to play. Just really intense back and forth. I end up making a really tough call of sacrificing my Ninjast. He ends up going for Thunder Punch, which I was surprised by. I end up being able to bring in my Magmortar, which is obviously way faster, and finish off as Marowak. But it was a really, really tough call for me. When I'm already down this many Pokemon, to sacrifice another Pokemon, it was a really tough call. Here, he brings in Machamp, which I'm not actually that scared of here. I was kind of surprised he brought this in. I go ahead and get a huge Fire Blast off, and he actually gets burned, which is probably good for me, but it depends. I just don't know if he's No Guard or Guts here, but he doesn't have Mach Punch, so it ends up not mattering. I end up trading my Magmortar for his Machamp, and now the game is getting closer. The game is, it's coming back together. It's 2v3 right now. I have 2 Pokemon. I'm keeping my return spam Delcatty in the back. Delcatty with just like a nice normal type stab can just do so much shit and be like a really huge threat. I know that I have to go for an agility here to hopefully get strong enough or get fast enough to obviously be able to answer stuff. He goes for a big focus punch here, which thankfully I know pretty much won't kill me. Only doing 42%. I was pretty surprised at how little damage this did. But as long as I'm keeping the sub off of this Toxicroak, I'm pretty happy. A Wild Charge here, get off some good damage. Ice Punch comes in, doesn't kill. Really surprised. I don't know what moveset this Toxicroak has on this, but I was really surprised by this. Goes for the Sucker Punch, doesn't quite kill. And now I'm able to finish it off. So, once again, I think my Luxray lives here at 1 HP, which is a massive deal. My Luxray living there is so important. Like, every little sliver of HP mattered on this Luxray. I think this game was a mixture of my opponent making really, really small misplays, and I made some misplays early as well. But I think I played the mid to late game much better than my opponent, and I think that's what really ended up causing me to win this game. But man, it was a nail biter. It comes down to being Delcatty versus Farfetch'd in the 1v1, but that Stealth Rock chip damage ends up not really mattering on it. I would have been able to kill it anyway, but I don't know. It's cool to see. We end up, I end up tanking. The close combat it has at 72%, we end up pulling out the victory. I cannot believe I won this game. This was on a 6-win streak as well. I actually end up whispering him. I almost didn't whisper him because I didn't want to be like, come off rude, he lost or whatever. But I was like, hey man, like I don't know, I had so much fun that game. I feel like I had to whisper him and be like, yo man, that was a great game, GG's. I didn't respect. I told him like my mistakes. I think if you ever want to whisper someone and say like, hey, I really enjoyed that game, GG's, and you're the one who won and they're the one who lost, it's tough because you don't want to come off too rude. Try to focus on your mistakes and like make it clear like, hey, like maybe I deserve to lose, etc. I don't know, be nice about it. Pretty obvious social skills. But that was a great game. Really happy with that. Let's go ahead and move on to game 2, where we have sort of a hail team going on here. We've got the Abomasnow and the Glaceon. This was also against a very, very high-ranked player, if I'm not mistaken. The last game was against a higher-ranked player, player around my elo. But we have a really lucky lead here. Actually, no, excuse me. Sorry, I thought we were pincer lead. No, we don't. We have a pretty bad-ish lead here, honestly. Being Ghost-type into, obviously, Mothim with U-turn, most likely. This is Mothim could have U-turn. It could have Quiver Dance, and I'm scared. I'm extremely scared of both of them. I end up clicking Discharge. I actually, looking back, I'm really, really surprised I made this play. It was really, really risky and really greedy. He ends up making a really smart switch. This guy played, I think I remember, this guy played so well, like this entire game. Making this prediction switch over to Lantern is just so safe. It's so safe, whether I stay in or switch. So, like, there's 2 options there where he's facing a Bug type into a Ghost type. I obviously could go for the electric type attack, and I could go for the risky play, which I end up doing, and bringing in Lantern essentially it makes for a really good position for either of those plays. He Toxics my Torterra, which is really, really good. This guy just made a ton of fantastic plays all around. I end up just going for an EQ here to scout to see if he's willing to stay in or switch out or what happens. I end up breaking his, I forget if he's Focus Sash here or not. I think yeah, he was not Focus Sash. He just lived at 1 HP, so pretty unlucky on that EQ, but you know what? That happens. That's okay. I'm actually decently happy trading my Torterra's HP for the Lantern's HP because it's a really tough Pokemon to answer. I know he's probably going to go for an Ice Beam here, but once again, you see that good player in him. He doesn't have to go for Ice Beam. He can just go for that Water type attack. I still bring Glaceon into it. I'm pretty happy with this. I know that I can Ice Beam here, especially if he goes back into Mothim or something, or shows me a new Pokemon. Could be quite good. Go ahead and see what he goes for here. So now I'm kind of thinking as well how I bring in. I have 2 Weather Setters in this game. This was crazy to me. I could not believe. I thought this was a fantastic switch by my opponent. I cannot believe how much damage my Glaceon did here. I can't believe that I did. I thought it was a crit. When I saw that 56%, I thought it was a crit. I could not believe how much damage I did to that Weezing on just like I'm leftovers. I'm not even like Specs or Life Orb Glaceon. With leftovers Glaceon doing that much, I was really surprised. He goes ahead and brings in Mothim. Now this is what I was kind of surprised by. He does get off a huge U-turn damage, to be fair, but I'm surprised he sacrificed his Lantern here. I think he brought his Mothim in, maybe expecting me to make a switch or something. I'm not sure, but I'm happy to stay in there. I know that I live. Glaceon has a pretty high defense stat. I was really shocked by that. Kind of a weird play. Maybe he was kind of giga braining me, and I was too dumb. Maybe I played pretty simply this game, and now he brings in the Dragonite. So this is a play I want to talk about for a quick sec, because I know that he's obviously he's gonna kill me, essentially, right? He's trying to bait me to stay in, because obviously I have the Ice Beam that's 4 times effective against this Dragonite. He's trying to essentially, when this happens, you know that the player is obviously trying to bait you to stay in, to go for some where he kills you, right? He either calcs it or knows the damage. I know that Glaceon's pretty weak, especially defensively, so I go ahead and I just make a sack play. I switch over to Torterra, sacrifice it to the Dragonite Hurricane, and now I know that I can safely bring in Abomasnow, set up Hail, which is really good for my Glaceon, as well as Ice Shard it with priority. And Ice Shard, it's also Choice Band Abomasnow, which I'm pretty sure Ice Shard Choice Band one-shot Dragonite, which it does. Take it out, even though obviously it's 4 times weak. It's stab ice move. Abomasnow's attack stat isn't the strongest, so I was a little worried there. He brings in Mothim after, which I'm like, you know what? I'm choice banned. I'm happy to just go ahead and stay in and get some really good damage off here, even if he threatens me a bit. So I ended up taking out the Mothim for free. My opponent played really well, but I also think he made some, I guess, oversights here and there. Really happy how I played this game. I think that sacrifice into that Torterra was just so important. And then he brings in Victreebel, which once again, I can just Ice Shard. I got so much value off this Abomasnow. It was pretty nuts. I was surprised how many Pokemon he brought in that just kept being weak and weak and weak to my Abomasnow. But that's how it went for most of it. And now I think I'm pretty safe. I can't really go Hippowdon. I want to bring in Hippowdon here, but it's obviously going to be weak to that Power Whip. I think I end up going into Pinsir. Scarf Pinsir, I think, is in a perfect position to go ahead and clean up this game. I'm going to be faster. I'm going to be strong. I can X-Scissor for neutral. Hopefully I'll be able to X-Scissor the next Pokemon coming in for at least neutral, and if I can, I should be able to win. It brings in Tangrowth, which I can actually hit for super effective, although Tangrowth is a huge defensive wall, so I'm like, at this point, I'm pretty sure I actually don't. Yep, I don't. I can't even two-shot it, which is kind of nuts. Tangrowth is a really tanky Pokemon. But now he puts me to sleep. I definitely want to switch out here. You want to make sure you switch out in these positions. He puts me to sleep, so I definitely want to switch out to be able to bring in a different Pokemon to keep that Sleep Clause active. Even if I bring in Rotom and he just one-shots it, I'm actually okay with that. I just want to keep Pokemon asleep, so his Sleep Powder is essentially irrelevant for the rest of the game. I think I end up just going for a Pain Split here. I go for a Pain Split, sacrifice my Rotom while doing a little bit of chip to the Tangrowth. I could have arguably just gone for Will-O-Wisp there. I think that was kind of like I'm just trying to get as much damage as possible at that point, I think. And to be able to bring in Glaceon to Ice Beam to be able to finish it off, and I am able to do that. GG's. My opponent played that game really well. Was really happy with that. I think this was the 5-win streak, so this happened actually slightly before the other game. Let's go ahead and move on to the last game. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this game was tilting as fuck in the actual, like, in the start of it and everything, and I'll show you why. So my team here is insane. My team here: Eviolite, Chansey, Leftovers, Blaziken, Lucario, Garchomp. It's crazy that Garchomp has to be brought down to level 69 for it to be, balanced-ish in randoms, and even then, it's still quite strong. I was really surprised. I was scared it was going to do little damage, or I had to, like, keep that in the back of my head the entire game. It's only level 69. If it's facing something like level 80, there's a huge level gap. Like, I have to keep in mind, like, I really thought about that the entire game, but it still just ended up doing so much damage. Let's go ahead and watch this game. I'm going to skip through a majority of the start of this game because holy God is it boring, and I'll tell you why. So, the start of this game just ends up being my Chansey facing down my opponent's Xatu, and what happens is, what happens is my opponent, or we sort of lock ourselves in the most boring game state possible, where he's going to Cosmic Power up, I'm going to just T-Wave and Seismic toss him down. And it's just this boring as fuck battle of me slowly. He's Rest. So what happens is the Xatu has Rest, Stored Power, Cosmic Power, and some other move, I forget. My Chansey has T-Wave, Seismic Toss, Soft Boil, and counter, right? So counter is relevant. The Xatu has early bird, so it's always able to wake up. So he's just trying to cosmic power up, but cosmic power does nothing against seismic toss. He essentially, like, what happens is if I just stay in on Chansey and just seismic toss and T-wave him down, eventually he's going to get paralyzed and just lose. But he just doesn't. He keeps playing into it. This game was so slow, and so it's not like 2 times because it's so boring. Eventually, now I do make a misplay. He kind of got me on this one, and this is my impatience because I hate slow games like this. I didn't want to play this. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna switch into Yanma. I'm gonna try to break through this Xatu with some damage, and as you guys saw, I bring it in. He early bird wakes up, gets an air slash, knocks me down to low HP, and then also flinches me. So super unfortunate. I do get 1 crunch off before I die, but he's already at 4 times cosmic power at this point. So I'm just going to do no damage. I do 20%. Literally nothing. At that point, I'm like, okay, well, if this guy wants to play the long, boring game, like, it sucks because this game got put in a position where, like, the optimal play for me is to play boring as fuck. And I hate that. Like, I'm someone who, like, I'm really impatient. I get frustrated. I don't want to play slow fucking stally games. It's really boring, really lame, but we got put in this position where, like, okay, I literally have to play this. Like, I have to play. He's, like, 6 times cosmic power at this point. We get put in this really, really shitty, boring position where we have to play it as slow as possible. And eventually, we finally get put in a position where he's getting paralyzed. I'm faster than him because he's paralyzed, and I can just seismic toss him down for free. Finally, it happened, and this game, I was so frustrated because I was like, dude, what? Like, why? Like, it was just like, why would you set up cosmic power against a Chansey with seismic toss? You should just stop committing and just switch out. Like, it became the most boring play in the world. His Soul Rock goes for a Stone Edge and misses, allowing me to softball up, which is very lucky for me. I'll be totally honest. That was very, very lucky. Let's go ahead and continue on. Okay, now the actual game starts, so I'll be skipping around a lot more. I'll still be watching on 2 times speed, though. He goes ahead and sets up Light Screen on his Soul Rock. I go for a T-Wave, just crippling it to some extent. Also, if he switches out here, the T-Wave is nice. But what happens is he sets up double screens. I softboil up, get healthy. I think he ends up switching over to Miltank. Yes, and I know that this Miltank has Heal Bell. I'm pretty sure this Miltank has Heal Bell. He's bringing it in with 2 Pokemon paralyzed. It's pretty clear. It's pretty obvious. This thing's obviously going to have Heal Bell. He sets up Stealth Rocks. I paralyze it. I probably shouldn't have parried that turn. I probably should have. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I probably should have just switched out, if anything. I do get 1 Paraproc, which is nice. My goal here is to paralyze it and hope it's parried, and I'm trying to cripple it / kill it while it's going for the Heal Bell, but I know it's going to Milk Drink soon, and there's the Milk Drink, so I'm kind of in this weird position where I was like, I played this kind of bad, honestly. I probably should have maybe gone over to Blaziken on the I knew it was coming in a Heal Bell, but he goes over to Fearow here, which I was really surprised by. I'm able to get a Seismic Toss on that. If I can get a T-Wave on this, I'd be super happy, because getting rid of Fearow speed is a big deal. I take a 45% huge hit, which is a big deal, but I'm able to get the Paralyze off on the Fearow, and I go for counter here, and this is where he decides to switch. This game was so strange. This game was just so strange in, like, pretty much every aspect. I think every play just felt like random. It felt like there was no rhyme or reason. He randomly switches back over to Miltank. I think he was going for, I had predicted this. Yeah. So I knew he would go Miltank because he has 2 Pokemon parried, and I'm still on Chansey, the tanky thing that just sits and does nothing. So he's obviously thinking he can come over and set up that Heal Bell and heal his Pokemon again. So I think that was my thought process, and that was his thought process, which I understand. But I call it, make the Blaziken switch. I know that now I can close combat here, and hopefully, even if he goes into Xatu, hopefully the close combat can KO. Now, I got kind of lucky, I guess. He probably went for Heal Bell, though. Where I CC here and I don't quite kill, unfortunately, and I was pretty sad about that, but at the same time, he did get parried. Even if he hit through without getting parried, I think he wouldn't have gone for Body Slam. He probably would have gone for Heal Bell, which is fine by me. And Blaziken's able to get a lot of value here. This is Choice Scarf Blaziken. He goes ahead and brings in Xatu, and I'm not going to risk it. I know that Xatu is 4 times resist to the fighting. I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to go ahead and head on over to the guard shop. I know he's going to go for a rest. He goes for the rest. I assume he was resting, expecting himself to live the close combat, but I just make the free switch, go over to Garchomp, get a nice Hone Claws off, which is going to go ahead and make my Stone Edge 100% accuracy for the rest of the time that my Garchomp is in. And that was a huge misplay by my opponent. I don't know why he would go for Cosmic Power here. He has to know that I have Stone Edge. He has to expect that. Cosmic Power is just going to set you behind, and you're never going to be able to get ahead at that point. Yeah, you never Cosmic Power there. I think there was just a lot of misplays this game that allowed me to thankfully take this very, very slow, very boring game over, but we were able to take the W on it. His Fearow being paralyzed here, once again, a huge deal. I don't know why he brought this in. He lost his Heal Beller. At this point, like, he's just, I think maybe he's tilted, he just misplays out the wazoo. Brings the Fearow in. I Stone Edge it because I have 100% accuracy on my Stone Edge. Remember, I know that Soul Rock has Levitate. Dragon Rush, I don't believe is 100% accuracy here with Hone Claws. It's 75% normally. I don't know the exact percentage that Hone Claws brings it up to, but I know that it's quite close. So I go for a huge Dragon Rush, get nice damage. I Stone Edge to finish it off because it is more likely to hit than Dragon Rush. And then Carnivine comes in. I get another Dragon Rush off before my Garchomp's about to go down. He goes for a sub here, which blew my mind. And my Garchomp lives. So now I can just Dragon Rush to break the sub and get taken down. And then he power-ups nothing. And then I can just, like, this game's looking really good for me right now. 4 Pokemon facing down 2. Blaziken looking into the eyes of Carnivine. Looking really happy here. He brings in Ampharos, which actually I have to be a little weary of. Ampharos is actually kind of tough for me to deal with here, surprisingly, just because I'm not sure if it's physical or not. If it's special, Chansey pretty much bodies it, but I'm really scared here because I'm not. I don't know, because I've seen physical Ampharoses with agility and stuff in randoms before. So I bring in Lucario to essentially scout. And just do some chip damage. Lucario is essentially a sacrifice here. I'm bringing it in to scout information, get some chip damage, and see what's going on. I think my Lucario ends up just getting a little bit of chip damage off and going down. My opponent spends a lot of time thinking, which is only understandable. This is the perfect time to think. He's at the end of the game, end of the ropes. He's trying to look for a way out, trying to look for his opening. Go for an Aura Sphere, get 33% damage. Nothing crazy, but I'll take it. He goes for an Agility, which I'm a little scared by. I go ahead and just go for, I'm Focus Sash. I just go for the Aura Sphere again, but I end up just getting taken out by the Focus Blast. I could have gone for Vacuum Wave there with the priority, get a little bit more chip damage, but I think at that point I thought, like, the chip damage doesn't actually matter. I bring in Blaziken, and I made a huge misplay here. I didn't think that Ampharos would be faster than me with Agility versus Blaziken Scarf. I didn't calc it. I was way too lazy. Made a little bit of a misplay, but thankfully, we at least survived the T-Ball. And I know that even if Blaziken does die, I should be able to take the game. Chansey should be able to clean things up, like, pretty much no matter what. I do need Snorlax kind of to deal with Carnivine. Chansey should pretty much clean this game up no matter what. At that HP, I'm a little scared I don't live a Power Whip from Carnivine, to be fair. But at this point, we take out Ampharos, thankfully. We heat crash the Carnivine, and that is GG's. This was a very, very long and frustrating game. Thankfully, we did pull out the victory. I was actually at 589 ELO at the recording of this game, and I think now I'm at like 620. We've played a lot of games. We've won a lot of games, made a lot of progress, and the race to Sceptile has been very, very fun. Thank you guys for watching and listening to all this extremely fast-paced commentary. If you guys enjoy seeing stuff like this, make sure to like the video. Let me know. Do you want me to talk faster? Do you want me to slow it down? I'm going to be faster. Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO uploads, content, news, PvP, etc. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you later. Peace.